Hey everyone, it's Chris Loud. In this painting demo, I'm going to share 5 helpful abstract painting tips to try when working with prompts. I'm a big believer in letting your intuition guide you when warming up with a prompt, but I realized the other day that I have little techniques that I sometimes use to help give me a little direction. And near the end of the video, I'll show you one thing I did that took this from an okay warm-up painting to a much more engaging one that I really liked. But first, here's the prompt for the demo. It's from the 50 Abstract Warm-Up Painting Prompts download, which I'll put a link in the description. So you have 15 minutes to paint. For paint colors, you have lemon yellow, violet, white, and black. And the goal is to explore the versatility of circles, using them to create an abstract piece that's both cohesive and varied. So the first tip is to use all of the prompt colors in the background, or as many as you can. So for example, in this demo, I'm adding to the background cadmium yellow light because I was out of lemon yellow, violet, Mars black, and titanium white, or a mix of those to establish a harmonious base. You can mix the colors directly on the surface to create more subtle transitions in order to unify the piece from the beginning. And the benefit of this approach is to help set a cohesive tone for your painting and to help ensure that the colors of the final piece feel harmonious, balanced, and integrated. Now, let's be honest, I'm using violet and yellow, which are complementary colors, so this is an easy example. And remember that you don't have to put the colors down right out of the tube. You can mix these colors with white, black, each other, or any combination. So here I'm adding some charcoal to start playing with some shapes, which leads me right into the second tip, which is to practice or experiment with an additional guideline or guidelines. So unless this is a prompt for a contest or a specific project, you can introduce an extra element, like a specific topic or theme, to explore while creating your abstract painting. This could be anything from emotions to specific visual concepts. So this week I wanted to play with images of cracks in the pavement in my warm-up paintings and charcoal sketches. So I added that additional guideline to try and work that into this painting. So here is a picture of what I had in mind. So from this image I have a lot of choices to work with. So I'll show you kind of zoomed in area and I'll highlight the specific shapes. Then I'll show you a very loose sketch of kind of the direction I was headed in. Again, this is an easy one to incorporate with this specific prompt because it called for circles and the shapes from cracked pavement can easily be rounded into circular shapes. But this is a great way to get additional time creating with different ideas you might be focusing on or thinking about. So the benefit of adding a guideline is that it can add a spark of creativity and provide a little more direction, helping you stay focused and motivated throughout the painting process. And like I said, it gives you the opportunity to get extra time experimenting with a topic or a theme that you've been thinking about. And at the end of this video, I'll show you a few of the warm-ups I did with an additional focus on cracks in the pavement, as well as a couple more attempts at this prompt. So at this point, I'm doing a little extra mixing and trying to start working with the form of these shapes. Since this was a timed warm-up, I was just putting a splash of colors down, try and work those a little bit more. So tip number 3 is to use negative space painting to help guide the focus. I like to use negative space painting techniques to define and guide the eye to focal areas or shapes by painting around them in order to make them stand out. So this method helps create clear, distinct shapes and other forms. So like I said, one of the benefits is that it allows you to highlight areas and provide some contrast between areas, which can result in a more structured and visually interesting composition. And then tip number 4 is to change orientation. Periodically rotate your painting while you're working on it. This can be done every few minutes or after completing a certain section to help gain a fresh perspective on your composition. So changing the orientation helps you see your work from different angles and can show you new possibilities and possibly prevent you from getting stuck in a single viewpoint. And it encourages creative problem solving and can lead to unexpected and sometimes really exciting results in your abstract piece. So number 5, add areas of strong contrast. I don't think that's anything that's a secret to anyone, but it's something I think we tend to forget, and I know I do. You can introduce contrast through bold color choices or values, dark versus light, texture, varied brushstrokes, or contrasting shapes and sizes, or a combination of those elements. And the benefit of utilizing strong contrast is that they can draw attention and create focal points. So that can add excitement and variety to your painting. And I think this technique enhances the overall impact of your artwork, sometimes really making it more dynamic and captivating. So in this painting, I'm mainly focusing on contrast in color and varied shapes and sizes. And then I spent a couple of minutes after the 15-minute timer went off and added something that provided more contrast and I think brought the whole painting together. And just a couple of notes, I did dry the painting with a hairdryer for about a minute overall, but cut that out of the video. And because I'm using cadmium yellow acrylic paint, I really should have been wearing gloves, which I actually had right next to the table. I just forgot to put them on. But I try and use gloves as much as possible when I paint because I use my hands so much. And if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more videos like this, other tutorials, art demos, and challenges, don't hesitate to subscribe. And as always, if you have any feedback or questions, I'd love for you to leave me a comment. And I'd also like to say a big thank you to Kelly for her Super Thanks donation recently. Those really go a long way in supporting this channel, more than you probably realize. So thank you, Kelly, so much. So at this point, I'm done with the 15 minutes, and I decided to bring in this piece of spray painted tissue paper that I spray painted through a grill onto this tissue paper. For those of you that have watched my videos recently, you know that I have really liked using this lately, which has just been a lot of fun to try and incorporate it into some of the paintings and pieces. So I think what this does is it provides a couple of things. One, it just provides a little more interest by having such small shapes, small circles that is so varied to the rest. So I think that provides that contrast and interest in this piece. The other thing is, the circles, all the circles on this are circular figures, I should say, circular shapes, are not, very perfect circles. They're rounded. But in these little dots, they're a little more perfect. I don't want to say they're perfect, but they're closer to being, what we think of as a circle. So you have these small circles. So you have a contrast with a pattern, a contrast with the shapes and size of that just really, I think, helps draw the eye in. And now for me, the focal point is really the purple or the violet kind of circle off to the right center. And I think these dots kind of help lead up to that. So, but let me know what you think. But I felt that the tissue paper was just too white, so I'm now just adding a little bit of violet and violet mixed with Mars Black and putting that down and then wiping it into that tissue paper and kind of wiping it away so it's not completely covered up or anything. So to show you the final pieces in different orientations here. This is what the final piece looks like in better light with some different orientations. So let me know if you have a favorite in those. And I'll also show you what I did with it. I went ahead and put this in a frame, but I put it in a box frame. So gave it a little more 3D look. Here's one of the other pieces in a couple of orientations that I did the prompt with. And here's another one that's very different, using a little bit of a homemade stencil with that one. And then just some of the charcoal sketches that I worked on a little bit with some of the cracks in the pavement, a couple of orientations. So thanks for watching, and keep on painting.